When a segment of the cloud walls mysteriously collapsed a century ago, 4 regions were revealed, and each of them had developed their own unique civilizations and technologies. From the open plains of Ulruk came the orcs, trolls, and goblins, with their engineered machinarms and vehicles. From the verdant valleys of Feyland came the elves, dwarves, and Paracelians, with their nature magic and Arcana Tech info system. From the mountain ranges of Ilum came the Faunalians, Floralians, and Artificiums, with their martial arts and cosmic sciences. From the Sanctum Archipelago came the Onis, Angels, and Asuras, with their spiritcraft and forge. Together, we formed the Cloudbreaker Alliance.
DJ, welcome to Tommy Conversations.
Thanks for having me, Mel.
I have to say, gaming, I have played a little bit, growing up, but I'm very delighted to have you on the podcast because I got to see Cloudbreaker Alliance, your game that you've developed. Mm-hmm. Can you please let the audience know what inspired you to start this game?
Well, I guess, it's a matter of trying to entertain the people, my audience actually. I have a bit of an audience, because this is part of my other project, which is Don't Stop Thinking, my YouTube channel that teaches people how to play tabletop role-playing games. And from there on, it seemed that people just wanted to have more ways of playing games, or new rules, or just new some additions to the existing ones, and eventually from there I created a whole new game out of what the people want and something I also want to create. So it is a cross between what the people want and what also I want to create. So that makes I think a pretty good starting point on how to start your own project, kind of to fill in a bit of a niche. Is that the people reveal to me, and something that I think that is something that I want to create myself. So I guess this is something about finding the right audience for something I always wanted to create.
So you reckon you did a little bit of research through your YouTube channel, Don't Stop Thinking. Is that how you got your data from?
That's right, and also I do active Q&A, active testing. So this game has been play tested by my own personal group of friends, and then it is brought to the play testers, to the general public, and also the beta testers. So we go through a lot of Q&A and also play testing and everything to make sure that the game works really well, because you can come up with the best ideas, but there is always a snag, there is always a hitch. So sometimes you have to trust your own audience too to correct you, steer you towards the right course.
So what are some of the questions in the Q&A?
Part of the question is what do you find to be difficult to understand? What would be more interesting? And sometimes the audience are better at identifying issues, but not necessarily have the best answer for it. It is something that it's your responsibility to come up with an answer that works for everyone.
Ah, that's a good way to look at it.
Right.
So what is the hardest part in developing Cloudbreaker Alliance?
The hardest part is actually the logistics, how to sell this, how to get it to the audience and everything. Lucky I found a partner. I was lucky that the project looks good enough that it attracted interested people, interested company by publishing companies, and they contacted me and so on. But it didn't come out of nothing. If you want to be contacted, you have to make yourself available. So you need to have a bit of a presence online. You not only need to have perhaps in your social media, because nowadays people have rely a lot on social media to find new talents and so on. So you need to promote yourself too. So that's the other side of game design or whatever design that we need to look into, because nowadays, even if you're directing or even if you're just looking for any work, you need to have some social media presence so that at least companies or other people can vet you a bit,
Yes.
so they know what sort of person you are.
Did you try pitching to companies?
I do pitch companies too, and eventually, but sometimes you need to vet them too. Just because you pitch to certain companies doesn't mean that they are going to give you the best deals. Sometimes there are companies that approaches me, so I have to look into research them thoroughly one by one.
That's good.
And it also depends on what do you want to get, because sometimes finding the best royalty may not be the right one, but I opted for reliability because this business, Corporate Alliance is a project that I want to commit myself to in the long run. So I want to find reliable partners who can deliver the product safely and quickly to my customers, to my fans.
Sure.
So that's because nowadays branding is really important. So I guess the reliability and being able to give my fans the best product is pretty high up there. As some marketing guru have said, you only need 1,000 true fans, and from there on it will just roll in. So I have to really pay attention to really listen to the first 1,000 people, or the first group of people who backed my Kickstarter. So
I would agree with you that sometimes not about the quantity. The community, if they're highly supportive and very well engaged in what you do, you would be able to get so much information and then improve that workflow that you have. Now,
of course, nowadays, in this age of overabundance, we are pretty much buffeted by products, by everything, all these other large medias that want a slice of people's attention. So people are already been overwhelmed, flooded by all this information, all this distraction. So this is why sometimes your identity, your branding is really important, because they are, if they want any sort of distraction, they can find it anywhere. But nowadays people want to support people's ideas. It's no longer about just the product itself.
can I ask, how do you brand yourself?
I brand myself as a bit of a, let's see, do you mean personally or my product?
Let's talk about product first.
Cool, yes.
Yeah.
All right, my product, Corporate Alliance, well, it's branded, in the visual itself, because the first thing people come across, they interact with your object visually first. So with the branding, with the design, you can see that it has a very strong anime influence focus. So people immediately know what I'm trying to create. So they know what they're getting. So there is not much of a surprise there. But the thing is, I just don't give people what they want. I just go a bit beyond, a bit extra content, because of my other projects as like a educator, and also I also have a history channel where I teach people history or just create animations of history, interesting ones, obscure ones. So I put in all this obscure history to create interesting world that other people haven't created yet, using some obscure part of history. Like, for example, I just covered this recently. I included the 500 lords of Aiovoli. So those are the merchant group, a large merchant confederation from South India from the 9th century. They travel the region, and they have traded with a lot of these different countries before the Dutch East Indies Company. They were the precursor, an Indian precursor, and you know, they were very idealistic group of interesting merchants. They are the Viraha Balanjas. They uphold the Dharma of Viraha Balanja, the code of the brave merchants. So this is some sort of like interesting part of history that other people haven't really looked into. So I just incorporated into it and give my customers and also like my fans a new way to experience a world. It's a whole new sort of like a setting that they can adventure in.
Would like to share that on the Instagram, what particular video that you're talking about, because the ones I saw is relating to Romance of Three Kingdoms.
Right.
Which, you know, I...
this is my other channel,
Yes.
Cool History Bros, where I cover history. My other original channel is Don't Stop Thinking. It teaches...
Don't Stop Thinking,
That's
right?
Don't Stop Thinking
Yes.
teaches people how to play tabletop role-playing game. Cool History Bros is my history channel.
Now, would you say that your Cool History Bros helped you
Oh yes, definitely.
in terms of the game?
The thing is, you know...
Because you mentioned visually, I have to say, I really like Cloudbreaker's aesthetics.
Right.
You know, the animation really is quite astounding. It does stand out. Can I ask, did you do the animations yourself, or
Yes, I did.
you drew the whole entire thing?
Yep, pretty much.
Oh wow, that is that's amazing. How long did it take you to do that? Each scene must have, to perfect each scene, that would have taken a long time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
Because I learned a bit of sketching growing up,
Right.
so I
yes,
knew
yes.
how extensive that is.
Right.
So, yeah, let the audience know, like, even the color palette, character development. Did you have ideas?
Oh
About
yes,
how?
that's right.
Yeah,
Well,
because it's role playing games, so the characters matter.
that's correct. Yeah. And also, it is not just the character that I create myself.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a different discipline from creating stories, because you know, in role-playing game, I'm creating a world for people to adventure in. This is the principle of open circle. You don't close the circle, leave a space open for people to fill in the blank themselves. Or just to, it depends up to them if they want to just continue the curve, close the circle, or even like from the circle, they just draw a bit of a tail turn into a fish. So just create, tell them, you know, you can do whatever you want with this. I'm creating a setting, a world, universe for them to play in, and also give them some leading questions to allow them to imagine.
Oh, I like that. I've played games like this where you're saying open-ended. So the gaming the audience has a choice to go A, B, C. So if I choose A, it'll go to a different ending. Super exciting, because it's like when you log in to play again, it's like a whole new world again.
Right.
Because it's completely different. Yeah. So that's a good idea. So you're saying Cloudbreaker has these options.
Yeah, that's right. Well, to be honest, a lot of like tabletop RPGs have these options. Any good ones would leave some open-ended questions, some leading questions to let people imagine. But the thing is, you know, with my history as a, somebody who runs a history channel and look into an obscure part of history that many people are not looking into, I can create a different sort of experience, different sort of world. Because most people, you know, they are quite aware of the Roman history, they're aware of the European history and something like that. I just add a whole different sort of like perspective, you know, perhaps like Asian history, or even like Indian history, or even Greek history that a lot of people have forgotten, Mycenaean, or even the Orphic religion, because in ancient Greek, people some religious group do believe in reincarnation, and so did Plato. So there is another side of history that is often forgotten. So I just combined it a bit with Hinduism and also Buddhism to have them like adventuring together, just create a coherent world, a bit of a like thought experiment to create a world that is coherent, even though it may seem very, it seems to be incomprehensible in our own history timeline, but it makes sense in this fantasy setting, something for them to imagine.
I'm glad that you were covering Chinese history because we live in Melbourne, Australia, and growing up, we cover more of the British colony, the history behind Aboriginals and whatnot, lesser of, Chinese history, unless you go into tertiary studies.
Right.
So would you say that you'd read widely in order to, churn out content for History Bros? Because some of the videos I've seen, I have to say, is really amazing because the amount of facts, I find it very factual, very informative.
Right.
It's the stuff I like is because it gives people a timeline of in this period, when you say the Qing dynasty, or the Three Kingdoms, where all the characters, or the very well-known characters come in. You would actually have animations saying this is a few hundred years before Christ or a few hundred years after that. So is that what you do first, is to research and read and write the script, then come up with the animations for History Bros?
Yes. Well, of course, I have to. And the thing is, I had a bit of a background, postgraduate background, and so I had to go into the actual researchers, the latest researchers at JSTOR and other various publications, peer-reviewed journals and everything. I'm just tooting my horn a bit. Is that other history channels just look at Wikipedia or just any of the most basic textbooks, but I do quite a bit of research, and also I go into the original text, the primary sources, the history in Chinese, and also I make a distinction between the fiction and the real recorded history. But the thing is, people often mistake them, and I do make a distinction between them. But it is important that I tell the fictional bit too, the mythologization of the history, because the problem is, what is real recorded history may not be what people experience in narrative, because even people even talking about Chinese history or Indian history, the people may not look at the primary source directly. They only receive the history through literature, like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, or even for Western cultures, they are more, I would say they were more acquainted to the Cleopatra in Shakespeare's play rather than the real history. So I need to make that distinction, and also tell sometimes the fiction can be as important as the history, because this is how people imagine the history and how they act according to it compared to what is the real record.
That's a very good point. Would you encourage the audience to maybe read primary sources? You mentioned journals.
That's right. Yes.
So off the top of your head, what is the exact name of the journals that you check into?
There are various journals. Those are from JSTORs. Those are publication by professors and other researchers. And and of course there are many different journals for different disciplines. Journal of East Asian Studies, or Journal of whatever.
So, how long does it take? What's the turnaround time for you to edit a video? Would you say there's pre-production, production, then post-production?
Realistically, 2 weeks.
Wow, per video.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Your viewership's very high. It's in the millions range. I think I must commemorate you that all the hard work, 2 weeks per video, it's a lot of work, So I have to say the audience do need to check History Bros, because I think it's very informative. And normally I see movies, cinema of Three Kingdoms, but to see animations, is a different way of receiving information, which is very unique to History Bros, which makes you stand out.
Okay.
Because you said you wanted to do something very different.
Right. It's not just that. The original idea is to actually explain it well, to make people understand it. Because the problem is, with all this history of the world, people have difficulty understanding the name itself because it sounds like a gibberish. Because this is a separate sort of like historical issue. Is that there is a problem of translating another language. A lot of information is lost because the name of these people from the Three Kingdoms, for example, they have all these courtesy names like Yun Chang, like Guan Yu has a courtesy name, Yun Chang. What does it mean?
When you say Guan Yu,
Yeah,
right?
Guan Yu.
Yeah, the general.
Guan Yu, that's right, yes. His courtesy name is Yun Chang. Yes. To people who are unfamiliar with the language, it just sounds like a new two-syllable. Yun Ang, Yin Ang, Yin Ung. It doesn't make sense, but if you understand the language, it means a long cloud as far as the cloud. It's like a lofty aspirations. For the Liu Bei, his courtesy name is Xuan De. It doesn't mean anything to people who are not familiar with the language, but those who understands it, it means almost like a mysterious deed or profound deed. So it tells people of his aspiration. He wants to do something great, even if he would be unknown, or he wants to do something great secretly.
He's very well known as being righteous.
Right. Yes.
That's why he had the famous generals, Guan Yu, and then there's another one,
Yes.
Zhao Zilong.
Yeah,
Zhao Zilong.
yeah, that's right. And a lot of this name, Zilong means little dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, it means a lot of it is lost when you translate it into another language. It's almost like Harry Potter.
Yes.
A lot of the names rhyme, or it has a different meaning, makes it easy for people to understand. But a lot of the time it is lost when translated.
Zhao Zilong, little dragon, the general there, is so praised because apparently he hasn't lost any warfare, any battles he's gone in winning.
Right. Yeah.
We have a strategist, which is Zhuge Liang, the poor guy,
Yes.
being a fantastic chess player, eventually lost so many generals that he had not many to keep fighting for Liu Bei. And a lot of it is seen from the Three Kingdoms. Yeah, so this was interesting that it has definitely reached the Western culture. Now, growing up...
And regarding that, I think, it's a bit of over-marketing. And, in actuality, in the Chinese sort of like military literature, it's only one of the six, I think 6 or 7 books on military strategy. Actually, there is a whole. I have a video about that. There is a whole different set of books. Sun Tzu's Art of War is only one of them. Sun Tzu is often compared to another person, Wu Zi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this rival, not quite rival. He has a different sort of like a philosophy on warfare. His is more based on creation of a culture. Sun Tzu is more of a knowing the right strategy and the method. The other one is on how to create a warring culture and also create the foundation and the base and logistics. So there is a lot of information that is lost in translation.
Would you agree that these great strategists of China, so you mentioned Wu Zi and Sun Tzu, any other philosophers that's come your way that you thought could help you develop content?
The most important work above Sun Tzu's Art of War is the 6 stratagems of Tai Gong. Yeah.
Oh, could you let the audience know what that is
Yes,
about?
well, he is, his name is Jiang Ziya. He is the chancellor or the advisor of King Wu of Zhou dynasty. That's 1200 something, or I forgot. Well, he was one of the advisors of King Zhou, the establisher of Zhou dynasty. King Wen and King Wu. He is the god of war, martial, because there are, I think, two gods of war, or more, depending on the dynasties or who wants to. So he is one of the martial god of war. So
Yeah.
knowing in lots of military strategy, not in like hoo-ha-ha war.
Yeah. Because in the Song dynasty we have Yang Jiajiang.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, people definitely have to go read up on that because
Right.
it's so praised that
And,
they were able to
just,
guard.
The thing is, he pretty much established all this sort of like not he pretty much established how strategy is written, and this is the oldest text there is on even older than Sun Tzu's. It even covers something from very small and basic as how to use a light cavalry, and it has more material than Sun Tzu's Art of War itself. But the thing is, it is outdated. The strategies may not work anymore. And for example, even the weaknesses of cavalry may have been overcome, such as because back then stirrups and saddles were not created yet, so the use of cavalry would have changed throughout the ages. But it's a good foundation for strategic studies. And it just gives us a basis on the evolution of like a strategic history, strategic thought. Right.
Now, tell me a little bit more about teaching people playing tabletop games. So, to a complete person that's new to the gaming,
Right.
how would you teach them? Because obviously some people have a bit more knowledge, so you probably skip the basics.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess the first thing is people do learn by watching, so do it in front of them. And monkey see, monkey do. Once you have done something, they will just mimic you, and then you also give people a chance to experiment. At the first time, usually, because people are afraid to lose. There is loss aversion. Just make it a bit more less risk averse. So the consequence won't be as high. Give people room to experiment, and then I guess from then on, you can increase the difficulty and make the game more fun, add more risk. Because the thing is, people forget that why is there a loss? Why is there difficulty in game? Difficulty is a tool to make things fun. If people just create difficulty just for the sake of it, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because why you create rules? Why you create limitations? Why you make things harder is to make it more fun for everyone.
Yeah, I fall into that category: monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
And then I get to a level, the climax of passing that game, and then every time I get to that part, I can't pass. The really annoying moments. You're just like, whatever. You're just like, am I pressing the wrong buttons? Am I going about it the wrong way? This is where I go onto YouTube and seek help. So your channel absolutely has, a position, an audience for that. So thank you for spending time teaching people how to do that.
Sure.
Because I like playing game, but it's time consuming. So when you have a busy schedule, how do you go about passing the levels much quicker? So I like to go in a cheating way. Is to get tips from other people, from experts. So I do like to research before I play anything.
Right.
Because then it helps me get through the levels faster. Because, you know, it's no fun being in level 1 all the time.
Right.
Yeah, so you just certainly want to level up. And also, I think what draws me in is that designers of games award you. It's so great to, whether you pay for extra armor or unleashing special powers.
Right.
Every time I'm able to unleash that special power, I'm just like, well, this is exciting. This is where it's gripping. And like you say, you know, the level of difficulty absolutely matters.
Right.
Giving that, drawing people in, but adding the difficulty level a little bit by little bit is a good way to go about it. So Cloudbreaker, is that how you incentivize people? So you give them a little bit more to think about at each stage?
That's right. And, you know, I do play some of those games too. Perhaps like mobile games, or perhaps maybe that's something that you have played, or other video games, I'm not sure. But the thing is, you know, some games are a bit more predatory, or getting you to keep playing. The idea is that, you know, with Cloudbreaker Alliance, you know, since it is tabletop RPG, it is an analog game. You can the game master can change the rule anytime to create a more fun experience. So they are not. Well, it does create anticipation for people to level up or something like that. But the thing is, we also create room and also alternate rules to give the game master an option on how to keep the players engaged. So we pretty much give them a full product with. You know, the thing is, you know. What we are creating in like tabletop RPGs is that we are creating cake mix.
Cake mix, okay.
Right? Instead of just the cakes. The thing is, you know, cake mix allow people to customize their own cake, to create something that suits their taste. So that's the main difference. You know, the thing is, you know, this is a bit obscure, but the business of cake mix is that, you know, even some big bakeries use them because they have their uses, and sometimes, you know, they combine cake mix and real and just actual normal sort of ingredients because it would get the right sort of like the right color and even the right texture. We know what we are creating. We are not trying to create a whole cake. We are giving. We are pretty much. Our audience is also the bakers, the so-called bakers, the game masters.
I have read some comments on Cloudbreaker, you know, and people writing, and I think good on you for replying to these questions, and you replied to them personally.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it is testament to what you're saying about you know interacting, you know, and taking on board the feedback from your players and allowing them to bake the cake, essentially.
Exactly.
What is the most interesting question you've come across from audience when they write to you? Like, you know, something unexpected that you think, oh, you know, I've developed this game, but they've given me an option where you're looking to thinking about offering that to them or redeveloping in a way where it suits their taste.
Yep.
What is the most interesting request you've had?
I guess an interesting request would be how do I create my own setting, like for 100 years from this, from the current setting that I've created. So this person wants to create a future world on what will happen. So as you know, it's because part of the setting itself is an evolution of culture. For example, it was a world that was once devastated by monsters, by an apocalypse, and they have rebuilt their own civilizations, their own cultures, created their own unique technologies. And you know what happens next? That is something I cannot completely answer myself, because, and not because I can't, because I should not. I want my players to imagine it themselves. This is where I throw it back to them. What do you think will happen? Because I do have my own ideas what will happen. I think it's more important, as a designer of tabletop RPGs, designer of world and settings. Sometimes you have to stop writing or even erase some of what you have written to create room for other people to imagine. This is where I say I was typing quite a bit and then hold on, this is wrong. I shouldn't answer this. And I deleted them and said, tell me what will happen in 100 years.
Oh, I like that. I like that take. Once again, it allows your community to draw their own inferences, which makes imaginary play even better. Because when we play RPG, it's almost you go into a different world, and because you want to go into a different world. Because we go from 9 to 5, our reality, to, you know what, I need to check out of reality just to have a little bit of fun. So it is a great way of developing a game. Is Cloudbreaker Alliance something that you're focusing on at this stage? Is there anything else, upcoming projects?
Well, it is something I'm focusing on, but obviously it means that there would be new adventure campaign book sometimes in the future, maybe. Right. This is something that we are thinking about, and also there are expansions and perhaps other collaborations, because we have spent a lot of our resources on creating a really good product. Now comes the point where we have to market it, which is pretty hard for me because this is not my area of expertise. But I have some people, the publisher that I have in contact with, will come up with something, but doesn't mean that I should not do anything from my side. I'm also coordinating with them and other creators.
So now you mentioned marketing is not your field of expertise. You understand the importance of marketing for the game that you've developed. So far, you're hoping to. Now this is launched online already. The game, so and it's obviously in English.
That's
Right. Does it come in multiple different languages? Can I have the option to reach an audience from?
Not right now. It is up to the publisher because we have talked about international publishing license. The thing is, it might be possible, and I'm really keen for that. And there are other influencers from Japan who saw the product, and it seems that they quite like it. And there's a bit of an interest there.
Yeah. Okay. Do you get influence DMing you, direct messaging you to collaborate?
Yes.
Let's talk about branding. Now, we touched on branding of Cloudbreaker. Let's talk about branding of CJ.
Okay.
You as a gaming developer.
Right. Yes. I guess it is also about I guess I've been so nerdy, so I just use it to my advantage. I'm the super nerd, creating all these games, being something completely nerdy. I am a nerd who creates games for other nerds.
Oh, I like that. I like that tagline. Okay. I want to cover during your time on History Brothers, which came before Cloudbreaker. Is there any courses that you studied to help you develop?
Course is not exactly course. It's pretty much my work experience.
Okay.
Because I worked at a video education companies, create videos for high school.
But video editing is something that you have extensive experience in.
Right.
Obviously, that helps with Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Once again, History Brothers,
Right.
right? So you've video edited all your videos on History
right, yes.
Brothers. Wow, that's amazing. That is quite phenomenal because when I first drilled into it, I was like, wow, there's at least 50 something on just
Right.
at a glance. You know, I need to, spend time tuning into each single one. It's not even something that you could have in the background because it's history is something quite solemn, quite serious,
Right.
very factual. So I was paying attention to it whilst I was eating and realized I couldn't even eat and look at it at the same time because it required so much thought. So you, as someone that developed that and produced that, I can imagine, was it sleepless nights to
Oh, yeah, that's
compilate?
right. It is. Yeah, but I guess in the end, I'm quite proud of the results.
You must be very proud.
Right.
Yeah. Does it, when you edit, does it go through different multiple drafts?
Oh yeah. Yes. It went through a lot of drafts and also lots of fact checking. And because the thing is, the problem is, a lot of people are not very observant, especially people nowadays who watches a lot of like this short videos, social medias. They say, "Hey, you did not mention this." At first I said, "I mentioned this at minute something. You just missed it." After a while, I just ignored it because it is a fact that people don't really 100% focus on what they are actually watching, and sometimes you have to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the comments are super positive. They're like, "Oh, this is the best history channel ever."
All right.
I've come across that comment.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So I was like, let me look at it more in close proximity next time.
Right.
Would you say that entrepreneurship is something that is in the background of you launching YouTube channel and also marketing a product? Because you
Right,
essentially, there's that component. So how do you see the word entrepreneurship?
Well, I think that's a really good idea. It's really important nowadays. And I try my best to be a good entrepreneur. I don't have much experience in it. I'm learning as I go. But the thing is, every steps that I take is a learning experience. From Don't Stop Thinking to Cool History Bros to Cloudbreaker Alliance. It's an accumulation of all my entrepreneurship experience. Because even though I have people I can confide with regarding this, your best lessons can only be learned on the ground. With the boots on the ground, you have to do it yourself. Because what works for some people may not work for other people.
I've noticed that you have linked Don't Stop Thinking under History Brothers YouTube channel, and also there's merchandise. Some of the t-shirts are pretty cool.
Right.
I like the black version of the print in Chinese words, which has great meaning. We would obviously explain what that means when we make mention of that on Instagram, because I think it's quite meaningful.
Yes.
It's like brothers of, all four seas come,
Right,
and
yes.
we share and we consider you as my brother.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the meaning of that. So, final question.
All right.
For people that want to get into your field, people that are gaming enthusiasts, and people that want to be YouTubers,
Right.
any advice?
Those are two different fields. Right. First of all, it depends on what sort of gaming you're looking into. But the more currently, even like tabletop role-playing games, you should join the community first. Because before I created the Cloudbreaker Alliance, I was part of the official community groups of like Dungeons and Dragons, a bit of Pathfinder, and also like Call of Cthulhu's Chaosium. From there on, I branched off to create some thing.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you don't create something out of zero, and if you are not aiming to fulfill a need within a group, nobody will give any time of the day to look at your product. So join the community and expand from there.
Okay, that's a great tip. Thank you for your time.
No worries.